This is a Headgum podcast.
I got a water, so you're.
It's just not as fun.
I would. It's not as fun. Those were fun drinks that you were showing me.
Yeah.
All right.
Guess we should save it for the podcast.
Yeah, I like how you were so presumptuous as to sit in the.
Wait, is this your chair?
No, I don't.
I wasn't sure.
I don't think you gave it much thought, which is fine.
I just started the podcast world.
But you've done them before, right?
I've done it, then I was like, I never want to do these because you talk. Well, we'll save it. Well, you talk because you talk to your friend,
right?
And then you realize that it was just a big eavesdrop situation.
Yeah,
and I hate it. I think the last time I saw you was at our friend's funeral. Katie.
Was that the last time I saw you?
It's gotta be.
That was a while ago.
Because it was right before COVID. It was like a week before COVID.
No, you were at the wedding, though, Therese. And
oh, yeah, I saw you at the wedding.
So I saw you at the wedding.
That was fun.
That was great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, oh, wait.
Those were our bookends.
That's right, because we went to the beach that day.
Yes,
I think
and
that
our
was the last
daughters
time.
were playing with the horseshoe crab.
Horseshoe crab. And my kid, I was... proud and surprised, but she went and there was a horseshoe crab that had washed up and she went and saved it, just like on the left where we were playing, and she walked down walked down on the rocks, walked down to the beach, walked all the way, across the rocks, went over there and picked it up and put it in the water. I was like, wow, that's very nice. And I gave her like a treat for that on her own. I didn't say do it.
What was the treat?
A pinball machine.
What? Which one?
Monster Bash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it takes up most of her room. How much
does she play it?
It's loud. She's trying to beat my high score. So
I see. Do you play pinball?
I do.
Rich is really into it.
Really?
He's trying to beat the Jaws pinball machine right now.
Where does he go?
There's 2 arcades here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one you can buy, if you pay $25, you can play all day.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Jesus. $25, play pinball. Yeah, I'm friends with Jason Sudeikis, who is a massive...
I've heard.
Huge... I have apps on my phone that he made me put on... I can't say made me, but he... basically encouraged. And I was
put
like,
them on for you.
And I have apps on my phone on where to find pinball machines if you're in, Duluth and stuff like that. And there's a couple different things. And he's introduced me to a whole world of, but he's way, way, way into it. And he has a house down the street from me. And his basement, he just turned into, it's filled with pinball machines and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's a basement in New York.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Do you guys have basements now? Do you
still
live in Dumbo? You must have moved out of that apartment.
Oh, years ago. When Marlo was born.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a 1-bedroom, and when we knew we were going to have a kid, we're like, we have to get a second bedroom.
Yeah.
We don't want to do this.
And a basement.
Dang. Started... I said basement is priority.
Yeah, sure.
And, we could put the kid there if need be. And, we got when we knew we were going to have a kid, we had been looking really informally for about a year to split a place with John Benjamin and Amy Silver. And
what does that mean? Split a place?
So a lot of the brownstones in Brooklyn are multifamily. Okay. Most of them are. To find a single family is pretty rare. And so you could, you have people, living down either one floor and then you have the top 2 floors, or you have 4 floors and people are on top 2 and somebody's on the bottom, whatever. But so we were looking to do that, and then I was in London working, and then John said...
What were you working on in London?
Bliss.
Okay,
a show I did for Sky.
Okay, go on. So what did John say?
John said, "Where can I check out Bliss?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe BritBox. It might be on BritBox. I'm not sure."
Great title.
It's really good. I'm very proud of it.
Okay.
I just wrote and directed it. I didn't act in it.
What? You did?
Yeah, I didn't act
But
in
this is a TV show you made?
Yeah.
After Margaret Todd?
After Todd Margaret, yeah. It was, did I do Bliss and then do the third season? No, it was definitely, so I did the third, yeah. I did, you were in Hits, right? Weren't you in Hits?
I wasn't in Hits.
You weren't, okay. It was in between the Hits and I don't know, or it's somewhere in there. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. But I was in London working. It was one of the most surreal 48 hours I ever had, or whatever. It might have been like 64 hours. But Amber at this point is about 7 months pregnant, and John had said, "Hey, we found a place. We can't afford it. It's like a fixer-upper type thing, but you guys might, and check it out." Amber goes over there, takes video, does like a walkthrough, and she's like, "I think this could really work," and blah blah blah. So I was in Bristol, England, on a tech scout at a dock, and had to go do the tech scout, right? Get in a car from Bristol, drive to Heathrow, flew back to New York, woke up, and we went and saw this is over the weekend,
it's in Brooklyn. It's a brownstone.
Yeah, went and saw it in person.
What's the address? What borough is it, at least?
What borough? It's Brooklyn.
Oh,
Brooklyn is a borough.
Oh, sorry. Then what section of Brooklyn?
Clinton Hill.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, asked a bunch of questions, did a pretty thorough walkthrough, and, had like a late lunch, and then got back on the plane and went back to London, like going through customs and the the time zone, all that shit. And just waking back up in the bed in my, efficiency flat was the weirdest thing. And then, that was like Sunday.
Yeah.
So I flew out on Friday, got there Saturday, spent Saturday, went back. It was Sunday. It was the weirdest. Like, what did I just do? That was crazy. And
but it was worth it.
Totally worth it. It's, it took a lot longer to fix, and every cliche about renovating a place, it all happened, and went way over budget, or our budget, took way longer, but it's awesome. And I mean, it truly is a dream home in the sense that I've wanted that one of those beautiful brownstones, 19th century brick. I love it. It's brick and wood basically, and something I've wanted for a long, 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 long time. And the idea being, okay, we're putting roots down. My kid goes to school down the street. Great school, public school, awesome. We know a lot of our neighbors, and it's great. I'm quite happy. It's because I've spent my whole life moving around, and this is about, let's settle down here.
You'll never move.
We will move to Toronto or London based on how the next 2 years shake out.
Well, I just realized that we saw each other in Toronto because we were potting together when Amber was working on.
That's right. No, that was pre the wedding, though.
It was before the wedding.
It was before the wedding.
It was between the funeral and the wedding. We had a COVID potting situation.
Yes, well, because there were a bunch of kids. Not a bad run
for us.
And what were you? Oh, you were doing What We Do in the Shadows.
I was doing that. Yeah, and we had you.
Oh, and I did a part on that.
You had a part.
That's right.
That's right.
That was so much fun. I think I shot for 3 days, maybe total, maybe even 2. I don't know. I think it was 3 days, but I was so miserable and depressed, and it was just an awful period of time for many, many people, and myself included. It was, scary, frustrating. We were stuck in Toronto. There's no going back and forth, and we got our kid up there. And so it was nice to have a little community with other kids that were her age. Because Ruby's, what, a year younger, maybe?
Yeah.
And then there were, some other kids that we'd all get together and play. And you had that awesome house.
I had a really cool house in, what was it called?
It was right on the river.
There was a little stream.
What
was it called? What was that neighborhood called? Etobicoke. In Etobicoke, because I got the job, and I'd shot one episode of season 1 of Shadows as this character, and then not the second season. But they'd shot in Etobicoke season 1. So when they told me that, when I got the job, I was like, okay, I'll just find a place in Etobicoke. And then I found a place, and it was awesome. And then they were shooting way across town.
Yeah.
They changed it. They never bothered to tell me. I never bothered to ask.
How far of a drive was it?
It was a half an hour.
That's not too bad, considering Toronto. That's a massive... I love Toronto. I
love it too.
I mean,
I wanted to become a permanent res there. I looked into it. I'd started the process, but it was too much. It's a lot to be... an immigrant, you guys. It's actually really hard to
It's not quite the same thing as not speaking the language, and
but even having all those things, the hoops to go through and to make it happen, it was still uncertain, and even having a job there, it was like, who cares?
Yeah,
because I did Toronto's special.
Yeah, I really like it. It's also great for stand-up. I mean, when I do sets there, they're just, the Toronto audiences are great.
Where do you do sets?
I've done the Queen's Theater, I want to say, if that's right, and I've done the Danforth Music Hall a bunch of times. I recorded a CD there. I've done, and when I do like workout shows, I'll go to the Horseshoe on, what is it, on Queen? I'm not sure, but the Horseshoe, which is, music venue, kind of tight and just standing room, and they've always been great. Any shows I do in Toronto are great.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I'm going back to Canada next week.
For what?
Stand-up.
Just to do stand-up?
Just to do stand-up.
That's great.
And maybe pick up a syrup.
Yeah, I'm not going to brag about their food up there, but everything else is good.
I had pretty good food. I didn't get...
The sushi's good.
The sushi is very good, and I found good places to eat.
Me too, but I'm not going to brag.
You're not going to brag? Why? They've got a big head.
No, they don't.
Canadians are known for bragging about their food.
No, the food is good, but every time I come back to Los Angeles, it's always like, Los Angeles is just an edible delight in every way. Really good food.
Look, LA has great food, no question. But here's the thing with great food in LA, and it's not, you can't argue that there's lots of great food, but somebody will go, oh my God, I had the best soup dumplings. They're so amazing. I know you like soup dumplings. Yeah. I go to blah blahs in Chinatown. Oh man, forget it. These are better than the ones in Chinatown. Really? Yeah. And it's not surprising. LA has a large Chinese community. All right. Yeah. So great. Where are they? Well, they're in Alhambra, and what you do is you got to take the 10 to the 110, and then you get off and you connect onto the 15, and that's about you go about 45 minutes, and then you're gonna get off, and it's just like there's an hour and 20-minute drive to the great foods that people tell you about, which are there, but sorry, that's not.
I guess I'm just gonna.
And I don't even know where Alhambra is and whether it's anywhere near the 15. I don't know. So if you
sound like a typical New Yorker shitting on LA, and I'm not even going to be here for it.
I'm not shitting on LA.
You are shitting on LA, and I'm just taking a sip of my London Fog
I'm telling you a fact that people will often say the best blah blah is here, and it's you like whatever birria. You check out. The best deli in the world. I'm telling you, it's really good. People I trust and respect their taste. And I'll go, oh, that sounds great. Where is it? And it's a fucking 2-hour drive.
It's a lot of driving here. and that's not fun.
Okay, so I'm not shitting on LA. I'm telling you that aspect of having a great whatever it is attendant with. Whereas in New York or other places,
Here we go. It's better. Tell me how it's better.
I am. I'm in the process of that.
I'm here.
You just hop on the subway, and a couple minutes later, you're at or you walk.
Yeah.
Or you bike.
I have so many questions. Well, what like I do when the fires happened in LA, it was I love it.
I'll give LA that. That
it can burn really easily.
That it can burn very easily. It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah. Well, it takes like a phenomenal 90 per hour wind.
No,
but you're right. Normally, it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, there have been plenty of fires without 90 mile per hour winds. No, LA. I'll give LA that. It burns easily.
It burns easily. But it's my favorite city. I think it might be my favorite city. Because one of the main so when the fires happened and it was like, whoa, that's you're like ready for an earthquake, but I don't think anybody was ready for the large portion of the city to go up in flames and so many friends to just not have houses.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what if and when, now it's an if and when we lose our house.
Another great thing about LA.
Yeah.
You will lose your house.
Doesn't feel good that way. Where do we go? And I really looked around and it was like, okay, like home is people, not anything else. And there is someone in LA for me to see and enjoy and have and is funny. That's like finding like funny people is very difficult. They all kind of end up in two cities.
That is not true. That is not true. That is simply not true. No.
Oh, no, I mean like comedians.
I'm also
but
not
you're right.
true.
There's people with good personality.
I mean, eventually...
No, you're right. That's not what I mean. I mean people who are funny because you've known them for a really long time and you both get each other's jokes.
Yeah.
So that's what LA has for me, is good friends. So when leave...
I believe in your ability to make good, funny, interesting friends wherever you go.
And I will, and I do.
Okay, so
but I just like it here now.
Okay, that's fine.
You're here?
Temporarily.
I would like to go. Where do you stay while you're here?
I always get a Airbnb. They won't tell you exactly the address until like shortly before you come, but within a like 45-minute walk from this studio.
Yeah.
So right now I'm like up Silver Lake shortly before it turns into Echo Park. Mm-hmm. And usually I'm like on one side of Sunset. That's how it's been. This is like my fourth trip out here. We thought about it. And so, yeah, I'll be in a house somewhere, in the back house or whatever. And I like it. I don't have a car. I didn't rent a car. And, I have friends in Highland Park and I'll, lift over there.
Yeah. Are you going to see Paul F. Tompkins while you're here?
Yeah, he did the podcast a couple days ago. Yeah.
He's a sweet.
And
what about Jay Johnson? Are you going to see him?
He's out of prison.
Of course, I don't even think he stepped foot in.
Oh God, what a lucky traitor. No, I don't even know where Jay is now.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know if he's a Proud Boy yet or if he's.
No, he is. That's why he was there. I think.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It was a Proud Boy celebration.
I didn't know that.
Being so proud.
And be a boy.
Yeah, and they're boys.
Yeah.
Proud boys.
They're very proud.
Proud boys. Anyways. Wait a minute.
Oh, so where do you live? Where do you and Rich?
We live near here, too. But I'm not gonna give that information away.
No, just tell me the neighborhood. You live in
the east side.
Further east.
Yeah.
Because we are east, right?
We're pretty east, right, Casey?
Right. Yes.
I have a question about. Okay, so just to follow up, is I do want to. I was like, if my next move from LA would be back to New York, because I lived there for 12 years and I really loved it, and I was like told Rich, I'm like, if we leave, we'll go back to New York. and stay in the city. And we were like, oh, you could stay in a suburb. And then it's like, why would I stay in a suburb of New York? I'm in a suburb
like what,
now.
Like Westchester?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Who says that? What a weird piece of advice.
Sister. I don't know, but just like because it's cheaper and there's more space.
Well, go to Queens. That's kind of splits the difference, right?
Well, I'm going to live in Clinton Hill, I guess. Go to Marlowe School.
Why?
Because you're there.
Oh.
And Amber's there. And then Amber and me, Rich and I will go to Keen's.
We'll go to where? Oh, Keen's.
We'll go back to Keen's.
Hey, that's right. We all went to the Keen's Steakhouse. Yes, with the pipes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is okay. So David Cross was one of my first cheerleaders of stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I was an early proponent.
He was. He right away he did the hot tub show, and then you took me to London.
Yep.
And we did a show at the 100 Club, and it was such a big deal for me.
It was a big deal for me.
Exciting.
A 2-week residency at a place where, like, the Who used to perform, the Sex Pistols, like, that was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
And I don't know if you remember this, but it was literally the 2 weeks we were doing it were the week before the smoking ban. And it was the last time in a basement with zero ventilation that was probably built in the 1880s.
Yeah.
And it was just fucking sweaty and moist and hot, like just, and everyone's smoking. And it's downstairs.
Yeah.
And it's, I remember it being hot and sweaty, very, and smoky.
I loved it. And then we went to the Phoenix, and that was really fun.
He passed, by the way.
I know, you told me, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun 2 weeks. And then both Eugene and I got on, what was the show where you call in and
what was that?
And we taped it, and then we showed the video at the, it's a show, it's like a weird, really weird, but it's like cable access type of thing where you can bet, and they have like, hot woman, dressed up and like, okay, and they do a roulette or something like that. And you can, or is a acrostic type of word puzzle.
I wasn't in on that bit,
but we got through, both of us. And so we filmed ourselves trying to answer the puzzles and Eugene did a much better job of just really fucking with them and trying to create words that were ridiculous. And then we ended up showing that at the show.
I remember Kitson did a set. Daniel Kitson. I've never seen anyone destroy like that.
Oh, he's absolutely one of my favorite comics. I first saw him, and I'd heard about him. First saw him at the Kilkenny Comedy Festival in Ireland, and which I did not do well at, and just watching him so disarming, not care, or seemingly not care, and just be unbreakable, just laughing and having a good time, even though people were booing and stuff. And he was amazing. And I get the sense that he doesn't care for me or my stand-up.
Oh, really?
I don't mean, I mean.
Did you see him at my wedding? Did you talk to him?
Yeah. Briefly. And also I brought him over to New York and set up a show for him at Tonic, which I don't think is there anymore, but Lower East Side. And he didn't seem,
grateful,
and it felt like it was an obligation almost. And it was, and I just got the sense that he, and I was also trying to get him to be in Todd Margaret. And
he won't do TV.
He won't do TV. And maybe felt like I was pestering him or
that must have been an unusual feeling for you because
it is
most
because
men
I fucking love that guy.
Like worship the ground you walk on. So that must have been a real like
who the fuck are you to not?
I'm David, Mr. Show. It's the reason you got in comedy. That kind of feeling, and that's not there. Oof.
Well, also I'm just such a huge fan of his, and it's just look, I come off a certain way, and I rub
what
people.
What do you mean? Like, how do you come off? Now we're getting somewhere.
I think people, not even I think, I know people can find me aloof or condescending or somebody who thinks they know more than they do, or and I know that because I've read comments about that. Nobody who knows me, but I don't think people who know me really. I mean, I have a lot of close friends. I'm not sure they're. I doubt they'd be hanging out with me if they thought I was that kind of asshole. But there are plenty of people who do.
Yeah.
And I'm also more sociable now, like in that kind of situation, because I had 20 years where I couldn't take a compliment, and I would be just awkward and weird, and I'd compensate by drinking, and then that would just make it worse. And and when I remember doing a Mr. Show tour, and we had a tour bus, so this would have been probably the first one, I think. And the show would end, and I'd just run out and get on the bus, so I didn't have to deal with people. And they're nice people. They're all lovely people. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's a little awkward, but I'm much, much better. I had to make myself be, and I'm glad I did. I think I'm a better person for it. But I was very awkward and not comfortable with taking compliments and that kind of early fame thing,
Well, I remember like everybody that I came up with in the comedy world just worshipped Mr. Show. And it really was like, this is why I got into comedy. And I think we became friends because I didn't have cable growing up, so I didn't really have that kind of admiration towards you. Like, I'd seen one sketch when I was in college because someone had it in their dorm room, and I was like, this is funny. But I remember waiting in line at the Luna Lounge the first day I met you, and you were behind me, and I turned around and I was like, this guy, that's from, he's in that show. So I was like, I like your show. And you were like, thank you. He's in it too. And it was Brian Posehn was standing behind you. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Because I never actually seen it.
And I just pawned you off to somebody else. Like, talk to him.
And then I was like, I didn't know you were in it. And then I just turned around. Because the Luna Lounge shows, I didn't talk to anybody. That was my...
Well, that was an intimidating scene too. I mean, that was like the cream of the crop.
Oh, it's the best.
And they were super fun shows to do.
Yeah. This was a show for you guys listening that was in the Lower East Side. It's not there anymore.
Well, the building's not even there.
I know. It's like a condo. It down.
Yeah, it's like a high-rise condo.
But it was Janine Garofalo and Mark Maron's show, and they would just have everybody would do it. And it was very alternative, I would say. I would argue. Like, that's the first time I saw Eugene doing, like, a weird... I feel like he was wearing, like, some sort of astronaut helmet. Like, it was just
yeah, it was fun. And did you... Like, John Benjamin would go up and he had a...
With Glazer a lot, too.
With Glazer a lot, yeah, John Glazer. But he did a thing at Luna Lounge where he had hired a bar mitzvah DJ. Or wedding DJ. So he hired somebody who had no business being there, and it was part of his set to have this DJ. I don't know. It was pretty crazy. And I don't know if you were there. One of the last nights was the night before 9/11, September 10th.
Oh, wow. I wasn't there. I was in New York, but I was shooting a show called Mr. Holland's Opus.
Oh, the movie.
Sorry. It was, no.
Wait, that's a legit movie.
Because it was with Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Gay Harden, and it was called something. He was a teacher.
That's a fuck up.
That's a real fuck up.
You're putting yourself in a...
God,
well-regarded.
I wish.
Yeah, I was in. I was in New York shooting Lawrence of Arabia. Oh, no, wait. That wasn't it. What was it? The original King Kong. I was in New York shooting the original King Kong.
Mr. Holland's, which is better, Mr. Holland's Opus or Whiplash? Go.
Whiplash.
Yeah. I
mean, that wasn't too hard. Also, I haven't seen Mr. Holland's Opus.
I've seen it, but it's been a long time. Okay, wait. So,
well, you were in it, so...
I know, I was in it, but I just remember it was slow and the craft service was bad. When you're making shows in London, so you write, you direct, you're shooting them, do you prefer working in London because the actors are so much more talented?
For me, it's really great to work with people that American audiences might not be that familiar with, because then you can buy into the character more. And not that that's the reason I shot stuff there. I shot because I had the opportunity. In fact, it was at the 100 Club where Clelia Mountford and Jane Bell approached me after a show, and they were like, we want to talk to you about co-producing something here, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And they gave me a card, and we were shooting Tequila and all that stuff. And then it was later, a couple days later, and I was like, hey, what? That lady said she wanted to do a show here? Maybe I should call her. And that eventually turned into The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret, and then that led to Bliss. But it's just nice to there's you don't have to deal with a lot of bullshit that you have to as a producer here. There's way less kind of hoops to jump through, and if you have a good producer, which clearly is one of the best, they take care of a lot of the stuff that you might have an issue with, and then you're free to and there's so many talented people there. And one really stark memory I have, and I think it was before Todd Margaret, because I had Olivia Wingate brought me to London to do a month residency at the Soho Theatre on Dean Street in Soho. And at the end of Dean Street, and Dean Street, if you're listening, is it's where it's in Soho, and it's where a lot of Post is. So there's tons of actors and famous people just walking around. It's got businesses and coffee shops and all that stuff, but a lot of Post where it's condensed. It's a tight city there, so you see a lot of these folks, and there's a pub at the end of the street called the Nellie Dean, and I remember going there and just getting a pint after editing session or whatever, and there is the amount of talent that was sitting at some of the tables. Just everyone's leaving them alone. Nobody gives a shit. It's crowded, and like some of like my idols are there, and everybody's. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah. And I remember that being like, I went to have drinks with Charlie Brooker and Chris Morris, right? I mean, two Mount Rushmore of British comedy. And we were in a different pub in Soho, and nobody and they knew who they were, but nobody's, people here freak out if they see a Real Housewife, and it was just so cool. Like, I loved that aspect of it. Yeah. That you can hang out in a pub with amazing people and no one's bothering them, and no one's, and it's just a community, just like any other community. It's that happens to be showbiz folks, and that was pretty cool. Yeah.
There's just a boy from Georgia hanging out at the Nellie Dean.
Yeah. And just with the amount of talent there. And, because it takes a long time to be rich off of that stuff in the UK. Mm-hmm. So and people work. You work and work and work. And now the one thing I will say is and it's frustrating as an American, we're used to working on American shows, is they don't work as long hours as we will.
Right.
Like they, after whatever it is, 10 hours, they're all done. And they're like, not that they don't put in hard work when they're working. They do. They're great. And I've used mostly the same people every production. They're just really great. There's a shortcut between us two and talking, and they know what I want, et cetera, et cetera. But, when 5 o'clock rolls around, they're putting everything away.
They gotta get to the pub
before
the
guys,
tube shuts down.
And you have to call Grace constantly, and you have to have French hours, and and that is one frustrating part. Is because in America you work until you get the shot.
Yeah,
and sometimes you're working 12, 14-hour days, and you get compensated for it, but they're long fucking days,
right?
And it's just understood. You work until you get the thing you need. And that's just not how they approach it,
Well, America seems like, isn't one of our biggest exports our entertainment? Isn't it up there?
I would imagine. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. That's always kind of made me proud.
Yeah. I mean,
America.
we have a lot of crap, but we have some really amazing. Bob Odenkirk and I went to Machu Picchu last summer.
You did?
Yeah. And just
the two of you?
And a skeleton crew. Yes.
Why? Wait, to film yourselves being there, or just to be friends, like uniting on a bucket list thing?
Both. It started with me, I've been wanting to hike the trail for, 25 years and go to Machu Picchu since I saw it in a, whatever.
I saw it on Paddington just last week.
Right, there you go. And wait, they shot in Machu Picchu?
Well, I didn't do the research. I highly doubt it, because it's a bear running around and they're like fucking it up.
I mean,
not to give it away,
right?
But
it's a bear.
Well, that they're fucking it up.
Oh, the bear is fucking up.
They're getting in the Picchu, and there's like boulders rolling around and crashes.
Yeah, they probably.
I'm pretty sure
didn't film at the actual.
Yeah.
Pinewood Studios.
There's only one film I heard that was allowed to do so, and that was Transformers. And it was during COVID, and it was because
shot at Machu Picchu.
Yes, they were allowed to shoot at Machu Picchu, but they had major rules. Like they weren't allowed to. They had to carry the equipment up, and I think there was even something where they were only allowed to put sticks down for the camera. Like it was major rules. But the people at Brew are huge Transformer fans, so they're like, yes to you and no to you, Paddington. I haven't seen it, and then there's drones and everything. But.
Sure. But they have anti-drone rules there too.
Well, probably after Transformers, I guess. I'm making this up, but it sounds good.
It sounds really good. I was totally buying it.
No, I'm not making up the fact that they shot in Peru, because I met an AD who had just come from that job.
Well, then what were you making up?
Oh, that they shot with drones. I don't know if they did or not.
They probably did.
Yeah.
They have a rule about all kinds of stuff. They have,
Oh, wait, so you were there. Go back to you.
Okay.
So you were there with Bob Odenkirk.
Yep.
Wow.
And, I gave him a 1-day head start, and then
because he's healthier?
Because I had a gun, and he, So I have been wanting to do it for a long time, and I was in a very nice family vacation in the water, pleasant, which I loved. I love swimming. I love, whatever. It was really fun, bunch of families together. And I was sitting there, and it was really pleasant. I was like, I love this, but this isn't my thing. I want something challenging. And I was like, I've been saying I've wanted to climb Machu Picchu for 30 years, and I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to do it next year, no more. And I'm also more aware of my body not cooperating, and I've got issues with my feet.
How old are you now?
60.
You turned 60?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. When was your birthday? September?
No. Well, I'll be 61 in April. So
April what?
4th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I thought, who can I get to go? Who likes hiking? And I thought of Mark Rivers. And then I was like, oh, wait, Bob. Bob loves hiking. He's a big hiker and he's in good shape. And who could tolerate me for a week, camping out and stuff. And then I thought, oh, Bob, I'll ask Bob. And then my next thought was like, oh, well, I guess we should probably shoot it if it's Bob and I. And so we got literally just 2 cameras and a sound guy and went.
When you say 2 cameras, 2 cameramen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just didn't add that there was a person attached to the camera. The sound had a guy, but not the camera, so I didn't know. If you each had a camera.
I thought it'd be easier to say, yeah, and then say 2 cameramen, because then you'd say, did the cameramen bring their cameras? I guess you'd assume.
Yeah, well, I just know the sound guy's bringing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 2 cameras that were attached at times to 2 gentlemen operating them.
Did you know this crew?
No.
Because there's been a lot of time with you.
Yeah. No, they were great. They were, and that was part of it.
Were they Peruvian?
No. They were American. They're out of New York. And, Bob and I, when we decided to do this, we met with a bunch of different doc producers, film producers, and they were all great in their own way. And then we went with this company, Left Right, because of some of the stuff they had done already. And it's been great. And in fact, I go home to Sunday or Saturday, and then Sunday, Bob and I are in the editing room for 4 hours in New York at the Opus.
Reliving your trip. Well,
trying to put it together and make it something. So, and I don't know how this came up. It was about hiking, or I don't even know.
Oh, for this conversation?
Yeah.
I'm just keeping you talking. But wait, when you were at Machu Picchu, what was it like? Did it feel? Because I was just like, is it just like? Because I don't think I'll ever get there. So, is it just like, oh, those are old stones, or is there like a vibe?
To be completely honest, we hiked the Inca Trail to get there. There's 2 ways to get there. You either hike, and it's either a 4-day or 5-day, depending on where you camp out, and whether you choose to do 2 passes in the same day, or you take, which 95% of the people do, take a train to this place, and then you take a bus up this winding thing, and then you get to go.
And then you're just there.
And then you're there. And
that's good to know.
And it's in the middle of the Andes, and I had no interest in that. And one of the he was going to be our guide, but there was some reason why he couldn't be. And his dad, this guy Max, and he's awesome guy, and he grew up in Ollantaytambo, which is a tiny little town that is where you start the hike, basically. Mm-hmm. And his dad, what's the word? Not discovered a trail, created an alternate, harder trail along the Salcante mountain, and he's just the coolest guy, and he was sort of a consultant, and he told me, we were having drinks one night, and he's like, look, by the time you get to Machu Picchu, which is beautiful, it's stunning, it's amazing, that's in the middle of nowhere, how'd they do this? By the time you get there, because he's walked the trail 20, 30 times. He's like, it's just a pile of rocks. And he could not have been more correct. For the struggle of hiking this 37-kilometer trail that is not, it's just rocks. And and they carved it out of nothing. There was no trail. So they created the entire thing, and it's really steep ascensions and descending. It's difficult at times, and there's lots of steps. And at one point, you're over 14,000 feet above sea level, and the oxygen is thin, and you go through so much.
Yeah.
And you also pass other ruins along the way, not that are not even close to the extent and the grandeur of Machu Picchu, but
you mean that pile of rocks.
That pile of rocks. But by the time you get there and you get up to the Sun Gate and you go through, and then they have a thing which is really cool. I'm glad they did this, where if you got to Machu Picchu by the trail, and there's only two ways. There's no other. You can either go, and there's no left or right. Left is the mountain, then
takes
right.
A plane and crashes.
Okay. Well, he's a magic bear imbued with the ability to, with cognitive.
He's incredible.
Grown-up thinking. And, well, fucking get Paddington to tell you the story. How about that?
No,
Jesus
No, because he had a lot going on. He had a different journey.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The point is, this guy... Like so if you take the trail, you have access to other parts that the other folks don't.
That's fair.
And it is, I think, and it's pretty cool. And you're also there with it's a real, true sense of accomplishment when you get there and you get to the end, because it's fucking hard. That day 3 is a motherfucker, and they all tell you that. They tell you that, but I remember at the end of the third day, I was just like, if you told me I had to do this again tomorrow, I would say no. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take my time. I'll get there on my own. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
And
was Bob just like constantly being like, oh, this reminds me of when I was doing those Lost in the Desert scenes of Better Call Saul, and I survived that.
Oh, that's what you've brought it full circle, because that's what I was going to talk about. So we went. And yes, he did. But we went to, so we were in Peru, and he was constantly, I'm talking in Lima, didn't matter where we were in Lima, in Cusco, in Ollantaytambo, and on the trail, and the airports, like, excuse me, Saul, can I get a picture?
Wow.
And like, constantly. So
I've seen Better Call Saul, the series, twice.
It's great. Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah. And there are 2 moments in particular that are some of the best acting. Yeah. One is when I want to say 3rd season, and he's lying to the insurance lady, and he's totally making it up and about his brother and stuff. And he's all... But obviously, it's a script that he's memorized. But he plays it so perfectly, and you can see every little thing as he's making it up, but also imbuing himself with confidence. That and just that scene is great.
Not to take anything away from Bob Odenkirk, but sometimes I'm like, imagine if we'd been given that.
Given
something so well written to perform.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. Shit. But I mean, yeah, Bob is great and can pull it off. But I think.
He's special, and so are you. But wait, hold on. So you're.
And
I just want to.
Casey, so are you.
We're all special.
We're all really.
We're all special in LA. When you got to Machu Picchu, there was the Sun Gate you were saying, but I want to know what your reaction was then when you finally got there. Was it just like they said, like a little bit underwhelmed?
It wasn't about Machu Picchu anymore.
It was about the hike.
It was about the hike, and that was I didn't expect that. There was a sense of relief, a sense of accomplishment, and also the idea that whatever, because it happened, it got together so quickly. It was like, 6 months ago, I was standing in the ocean going, I want to go to Machu Picchu. I'm going to go, God damn it.
What a life you have.
And I mean, it's a thing that I...
Don't defend it.
No,
fine.
I chose to do it. It's not, anybody can have that life.
Wait. So you didn't experience any Machu Picchu citizen ghosts?
No.
At all. Okay. And did you take the train back? Or did you just slide on your butt back down?
There's no going back the other way.
Okay.
It's a narrow trail, and there's enough. If you stand against the mountainside, you can let people pass and stuff. And occasionally, it's wider in some places. Somebody will have a donkey with packs and stuff, but it's not. I mean, mostly it's you're not going back 37 kilometers. That would be awful.
Okay.
So
you took the train.
So you take the train. Everybody basically, take a bus. You get there, and there's, it's fucking cool and beautiful. And you're in, and the Andes Mountains are particularly jagged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but and I think it's the youngest mountain range on Earth, I believe. But it's just a stunning every turn you take and
That's why it goes by Andy instead of Andrew.
I don't understand.
The Andes.
No, I get that.
Because they're so young.
Oh. Okay. Did you get that right away, Casey?
No.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's why I don't do stand-up in Toronto anymore or anywhere.
Have you stopped doing stand-up?
I did stop. It's so nice.
You're a wonderful stand-up.
Thanks.
I mean, you made a lot of fans in London.
I know, you're right. You know what? It's so funny because do you remember Liam? Well, I'm forgetting his last name. Liam was around and he always did shows in New York.
Liam,
like Mick something. He sent me
from Oasis.
No, he was a stand-up in New York, but he produced a lot of shows, and he did one. Oh. He taped one that I did at Comics, like 15 years ago or more.
Yeah, that's been gone for a while.
Yeah, and he asked if he could post it on YouTube, and I just saw it this week, and it was, it was so fun. I actually enjoyed my performance, and then I was like, "Ooh, I could actually do stuff with that."
Well, do you and Kurt?
We had our 20th anniversary
of Hot Tub?
Of Hot Tub.
Or doing
and we ended Hot Tub. So
officially.
Officially, yeah.
Nice.
That was good. That felt good.
Hot Tub was a fun show.
It was
you
a
and
fun
Kurt
show.
always had fun stuff.
Yeah.
Kristen Schaal is a horse.
Kristen Schaal is a horse, a solid bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I could say I would probably do stand-up again, but I have this like weird I really like acting, and then I really want to write my own thing. I want to write.
You can do both.
I can do both, but I don't know about you, but like my day is packed with a kid. Like, it's like I get her to school, and then if you have like any other thing during the day, let alone like, I wish I could exercise, but you have jobs and other things, and then you school aftercare is over, and then you're home, and then I don't want to do shows at night right now. Like I really
understand.
like putting her to bed. Yeah. She's having like trouble with nightmares, and so I just feel like
I get that.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think I will always come back to that. I hope, because
what is Ruby gravitating towards? Like, what is she starting to show you about herself?
She likes. She has crushes. That just happened like a few weeks ago, and what else? She really likes animals. She likes nature. She loves. That was a thing too. I was like, God, if we moved to New York, we had to make sure we go to Central Park a lot.
We'll go to Prospect Park. I live in between Prospect Park and Fort Greene.
I would always imagine if I came back to New York, I would want to. My dream.
You said you want to be in the city.
My dream living when I was in Brooklyn, and maybe because I worked in Manhattan every day, so every day I was in Manhattan. And all my fancy Manhattan friends never took the train to Brooklyn. And I was like, must be nice.
Yeah.
I was like, if I ever come back to New York City, I'm going to I'll be a Manhattan gal. That's what I keep saying.
But you did live in Manhattan.
And then I did live in Manhattan. I forgot.
Yeah.
With Rich for a couple years.
You guys on all your Emmys. Like
I still have
shelves
all
and shelves of Emmys.
Emmys.
What's Rich doing now?
He's like writing movies with Rob Anderson. I don't know if you know Rob.
I don't.
But he wrote this funny movie that they're not going to make it. But it was about a QAnon person who, it's like, what if every conspiracy theory of QAnon was true? And so she just starts discovering that she's right the whole time. That's the movie.
That is kind of close to a crazy... You know Mark Chappell at all?
I don't.
British writer. He had this idea, and I was helping him with it, that was about kind of similar thing where they discovered in Ukraine this guy who I was going to play, who was like this washed up. He had one hit, and he was still living off that hit, and he lives in like a 1-room bungalow up somewhere off of West Hollywood. And people remember him, but it was like a dumb thing, and he was just partied too much and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And this show took place in the Ukraine, and it was discovered that in the show that Russia had been interfering in the presidential election, all this stuff, and it was all kind of through this show that he produced in Ukraine, and where he stumbles upon going like, wait a second, this is real, and then Russia invaded Ukraine. And
oh my God.
we were like, well, there goes that.
Yeah.
There goes that idea. But it was kind of similar in the sense of like all the things that you've heard are, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Actually did happen.
Yeah.
And, and people from the show have mysteriously died and all this stuff. And it really was a Russian he was manipulated into making this propaganda. Anyway, that was a similar thing.
Are you, do you use Botox? Your skin is like so smooth and you don't have any like wrinkles.
I don't know. I mean, I've been told when they do...
You do nothing.
I do nothing.
No facials?
No facials, but
you
maybe,
must use some eye cream or something.
I don't use eye cream.
Do you
I have a moisturizer. I'll put moisturizer on I'll rub it on my hands and rub it on my face and head. I did have a biopsy, if you take a look at that, just recently. But it turned out to be benign, so
that's good.
No cancer. I got to tell Amber. I forgot to tell Amber about that.
Call her now.
I'll call her after this. But yeah, I forgot to.
How's Amber doing?
She's great. She's a little frustrated. Like anybody who has a period where they're not working like they want to work, and so she's kind of going through that. But she had this project she was trying to write, a new novel, and she went on this writer's retreat, and she said it all kind of clicked for her, and so that was good. So she has this thing to be working on. But Kristen Schaal, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to plug? Let people know about upcoming stuff?
Yeah. Well, as Casey knows, we have a podcast starting in April with your friend Tony Hale.
Oh, great.
And
love Tony.
Matt Oberg, called The Extraordinarians, where we interview people who have broken like world records and things like that. That's going to be a big hit.
Okay. You're doing that with Headgum?
Yeah.
I guess. So you'll be here.
Headgum. I'll be next door.
Okay. Well, yeah, literally right there.
Yeah.
But in the studio.
Yeah.
In the same. Okay.
That's why I knew about this. This is a very good tea.
Okay.
It's called London Fog. It's from your other favorite city. How's Wendy?
She just had to put down her dog today.
Oh, no.
So I got to call her.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, you got to do some calls.
You got some calls,
roll some calls with your ladies.
I don't have cancer. Sorry about the dog. So I end every episode with a question from my daughter, Marlo, who you know. And your question is going to be...
Is this specific for me, or is it just questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kristen Schaal, my daughter Marla would like to know, what is the least bad thing that Trump did? What is the least bad thing? And that's a legit question. You feel free to answer it in any way you see fit.
No, this is good. I mean, okay, this is good. I feel nervous talking about politics. Only because I feel like I need to read more stuff.
Well, you're talking to a 7-year-old, and she worded it that way, least bad. What is the least bad thing that Trump did?
I think the least bad thing. Well, okay, in my mind, when he was saying that he was gonna go talk to Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And everybody was like, we don't talk to him because he's evil. And the way we handle evil people is we ignore them until they're good, and then we'll talk to them. And I kind of was alone. I didn't tell anybody, but I kind of like that he was like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I just don't know how that. It seemed like a good move, actually.
There you go.
It didn't get
perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, just why don't you chat to everybody?
Yeah,
just chat to everybody.
Least bad thing he did.
I think that might be the least.
Yeah, bad. I'm not judging. I'm not giving you that's right, that's good, but it's perfectly acceptable. And yeah. Thank you.
What else did he do?
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what? Wait, and also Marlo, he did a pretty good job in Home Alone.
Do you think so? I don't. Was that the original Home Alone or
the original Home Alone? Didn't he just
second Home Alone?
Oh, that's Home Alone 2. Yeah. He just looked at him, right, and then walked away.
Yeah, gave him directions.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the least bad thing he did.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That was a Headgum podcast.